We all face giants. Fear, doubt, pain. They stand before us, towering, unshakable. The world tells us to run, to hide, to fight on our own. But God calls us to stand firm, because the battle is not ours, it's His. When giants come, they often seem bigger than life. They stand tall, casting shadows that make us feel small, insignificant, even powerless. It can seem impossible to face them. But remember this: giants don't fall because we are strong. They fall because God is with us. David stood before Goliath, a shepherd boy against a warrior. The world saw his weakness, his size, his lack of armor. But God saw his faith, his courage, and his heart. What did David do? He didn't fight with a sword. He didn't rely on what he could do with his own hands. He fought with trust, with the confidence that the battle belonged to God, not to him. David knew that victory was not in his strength, but in the power of the one called him. It's a reminder to all of us. The battle may be overwhelming, but with God, nothing is impossible. Your Goliath may not wear armor. It may not be a giant standing before you. It may be the weight of a broken heart, the fear of failure, or the whisper that says, "You're not enough." How many times have you faced a challenge that felt insurmountable? How many times have you wondered, how can I keep going? The voice of the enemy is loud, but it's not the voice of truth. When God stands with you, you are already victorious. No matter the size of the mountain, no matter the depth of the valley, with God, you cannot fail. The world says you're not capable. God says you're more than a conqueror. The world will tell you to take the easy path, quick fix, the shortcuts. The world might even tell you to compromise on your values, on your integrity, on your purpose. But Jesus, He says, do what is right. Even when no one is looking, even when it costs you, because doing what is right isn't just about following rules. It's about standing for something greater than yourself. The easy path may promise temporary pleasure, but true success, true peace, and true fulfillment come when we stand firm in our faith. Character, integrity, and faith are the things that last, the things that no storm, no trial, no giant can take away. The world will offer you fleeting pleasures that fade with time. Jesus offers you a peace that surpasses all understanding, a joy that fills you even in the darkest moments. It's not always easy to stand up for what's right, but God never promised that life would be without its struggles. What He promised was that He would never leave you. He promised that He would fight with you, beside you. In fact, some of our greatest victories come from the toughest battles. Our character is forged in fire. Our faith grows in the struggle. The world says, it's all about you. Live for yourself. Get ahead at any cost. But Jesus says, serve others. A life lived for only oneself is a life of emptiness. When you focus on others, when you give, when you love, something incredible happens. You start to experience the very joy you've been searching for. In giving, you receive. In loving, you heal. In surrendering, you find strength. The world says, take, but Jesus says, give. You don't have to look far to see the truth of this. A simple act of kindness can change someone's day, someone's life. A heart full of love can heal brokenness. both in others and in yourself. When we give of ourselves, we find a purpose that is eternal. When we follow Jesus' example of love, we realize that the more we pour out, the more we are filled. The more we give of ourselves, the more we find peace and fulfillment. God's purpose for your life is not about what you can take, but about what you can give. David didn't need armor. He didn't need a sword. He needed faith. And so do you. The battle before you may seem impossible. Your Goliath might appear invincible. But remember, God who stood with David is the same God who stands with you now. The world says, be afraid, fear your giants, run from them. But God says, do not fear, for I am with you. The God who conquered giants in the past is still the God who conquers giants today. The battle isn't about your strength. It's about trusting God to give you the victory. You may be facing a giant today. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's doubt. Maybe it's a situation that seems hopeless. But don't let the giant stand in your way. Stand firm, like David, and face it with faith. When God is on your side, the battle is already won. Will you face your Goliath, or will you let it win? Will you allow fear to dictate your life, or will you stand in the power of God, knowing that He will lead you to victory? Remember this: the giants don't fall because of our power. They fall because of God's. And when you choose to stand with Him, there is nothing that can defeat you. The world says, give up. God says, press on. The world says, you're not enough. God says, you are more than a conqueror through Him who loves you. So, what will you choose? Will you face your giants, confidence that God is with you? Will you trust that He has already won the battle? Will you choose to stand firm in your faith, knowing that your victory is not in what you can do, but in what God has already done? It's your choice. Choose to face the giants. Choose to walk in faith. Choose to trust God and watch as the giants fall.